What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through tonight's two-game slate, a pair of game fours. In this case, the home team ahead 2-1 in the Western Conference and behind 2-1 in the Eastern Conference. With me to talk through the injury notes on these two games is Mike Gallagher. Mike, how are you doing?
Doing good. Fun, interesting weekend. The slate has been flipped on its head. Everything has changed from where we were when we were talking on Thursday. Big injuries today. Hashtag let them know. Get your notifications on for Donovan Mitchell. It's a big one. We'll talk about that here in a second. But pretty excited for the late game today for sure.
Yeah, let's get into that first game, Boston-Cleveland. On the Boston side of things, Luke Cornett listed probable with right calf tightness here. Kristaps Porzingis listed out with the right soleus strain. What are your notes on Cornett? Any concerns about the depth that Boston has, just being able to play Xavier Tillman if they wanted to over Cornett here? But just a probable tag on Cornett. What are your notes there?
Yeah, not much. Just he's had this cap tightness thing before. We saw his minutes get really cut down. They went super condensed over the weekend, and they cut out. We saw Sam Hauser's minutes go completely bye-bye. So it could be pretty tight. If they didn't play him, they might go to Xavier Tillman to fill minutes. We're probably going to see a ton of Horford, though. Horford didn't play well offensively, but thought he did fine defensively. So yeah, the story is they didn't mess around. The Cavs made a run and they really tightened up the rotation. We saw really elevated minutes from their starting five. So yeah, they might just trim it down. We did see a little bit in game 2 of that Tatum center lineup. Basically the starters, no Horford, and then Pritchard in his place. And as we talked about on the podcast we recorded, Payton Pritchard's really separated as a key bench guy for them. So his minutes are quite secure, and they might not even play Cornett regardless. Especially since we know, we'll talk about it on the other side, the Cavs are going to go small in their second unit, we think.
Yep. On the Cavs side, Jared Allen listed questionable once again with the right rib contusion. Donovan Mitchell questionable, as you alluded to, with the left calf strain. They're without Craig Porter Jr. and Ty Jerome. Jared Allen, the initial reports were that he wasn't at shoot-around. Then Chris Fedor posted some pics of Allen shooting free throws. He was reportedly at shoot-around last game, but then still ruled out in advance of that one. So let's start with Jared Allen. What are your expectations on Jared Allen tonight?
Yeah, I think he's not playing. Chris Fedor, I listened to all of his podcasts. He mentioned in his last podcast that he is not expected to play today. Difference between playing NBA basketball and shooting free throws. We know he's had trouble, putting his arms over his head. Talked about on the last show we did that he had to use his shoe to press an elevator button because discomfort of moving his arm. So it seems pretty unlikely he's going to play to me. So we've got him out in projections. The next question is, we'll get to Donovan in a second. Who starts? We saw Isaac Okoro get really cut down in the second half as Dean Wade's minutes went up. Should note that Fedor also mentioned on his podcast that Dean Wade did ding up his knee. He had to get treatment after the game, wasn't in the locker room, but then added later on that he was walking out okay, not in the injury report. Should be good, but this could be something that maybe caps him and maybe keeps him out of the starting lineup. Definitely a strong candidate to start for me. Could be Okoro. I think Marcus Morris is done. That ship has sailed. We'll see if Kristen Thompson's minutes come back to life. We saw Dean Wade at the 5 spot as well. But yeah, they need size in a big way. So if Dean Wade is healthy enough to play and start and play 30 minutes, I think he's going to start and could play a bunch.
On the Donovan Mitchell side of things, not at shoot around today. Legitimate issue with the calf strain. Seems like we're trending towards game time decision here. What are your expectations for Donovan?
Yeah, not shoot around, just did film session, so that's not good. We are, as I mentioned, if you want to try to get some stale lines, go to follow Donovan Mitchell and put those notifications on, because he will let us know on the timing. He's been actually real. I have notifications on him because I'm a sicko. He's been pretty early with the let him knows. He's been like 3.5, 4 hours early for the let him knows lately. So yeah, that'll be our most watched tweet of the day. Shout out Underdog, but that's the most important tweet of the day for sure. If he didn't start, jam Boston minus 8.5, and B, it would be Karis LeVert season. Karis has played great. Came into the weekend as the worst half-court player in the playoffs with like 30 possessions or whatever. Been great. Playing so well that does he cut into Darius Garland? Garland's been quite bad here. So definitely something to keep an eye on with Mitchell. Yeah, again, by far the biggest Q tag on the slate today.
Yeah, there was a tweet over the weekend, and I was trying to type it up to find it quickly before on Karis LeVert that basically said that he has a gallery of all the different player moves in the history of the NBA, from like Michael Jordan to like, you know, Andre Blosh or whatever, and his brain just randomly picks one before each possession, and then he mimics that. And it is like the best description of Karis LeVert that I've ever seen. I will find the tweet and bring it up on one of the shows this week to do it justice, but it's so funny and so good to me that, yeah, we might see full-blown Karis LeVert tonight. And the range of outcomes on what that means is very wide. Let's move to OKC and Dallas. On the Oklahoma City side, there's nothing to talk through from an injury perspective. They are fully healthy. The big question mark is Josh Giddey, who has seen his role diminish severely. You can see there in the last box score, starters minutes all above 35, a couple into the 40s, and then Josh Giddey there at 13 minutes. So what do you make of the Thunder rotation here? Down 2-1 in Dallas tonight.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't going to start the second half. I was surprised by that. Got a little bit of run and then bye-bye. Again, the Giddey minutes have been a complete disaster. In 31 Giddey minutes, they are minus, I lost the stat here. It's bad. They're like minus 30 points per 100 possessions, and in 41 minutes. And then in the Giddey minutes that he is not there, they're plus 17.5. So you're talking about 48-point swing in on-off with Giddey. So he's got to go. Makes all the sense in the world to me. You need another defender. You can't mess around with this PJ Washington. Let PJ Washington beat you. He's beating you. You are down 2-1 because of PJ Washington. Don't let him beat you again. You need to start someone that could add defense. Whether they're going to, in my opinion, they have to start Aaron Wiggins. Whether they put Aaron Wiggins on PJ Washington or they put Aaron Wiggins on Kyrie and then move J-Dub to the PJ Washington. They have to do that. Like I'd be shocked if it's anything else. So that's my thought. Maybe they go to Isaiah Joe just because they kind of like that. But I think that you cannot mess around with this PJ Washington killing you thing. So that's my thought. We'll see if Giddey gets like the non-SGAs or something along those lines. But clearly the data is just screaming. You got to take Giddey out of this lineup. You cannot lose this game. You cannot start slow. You're in you're going into a hostile environment. So I'm expecting Aaron Wiggins to start. A little bit more Isaiah Joe. We'll see a little Cason Wallace. We'll see if the Jay Will minutes go away. That's been pretty bad. He got killed on the boards in like the third quarter, so he could be a little bit vulnerable. Maybe Kenrich Williams comes in there. But the headline for me is I would be pretty surprised if Josh Giddey starts today.
Yeah, and the tweet I found is at IsoSpida. I want to give appropriate credit here, and the tweet reads: "I think Karis LeVert has a wheel in his head with a collection of random NBA players, anywhere from Michael Jordan to Anthony Bennett, and he spins it every possession to see who he's going to play like." And that is the most perfect description of Karis LeVert that I've ever heard. I posted the tweet in the chat there for those of you following along. So we'll see what the Thunder decide to do here on Aaron Wiggins potentially starting over Josh Giddey. We can move to the injury side of things with the Dallas Mavericks, where Luka Doncic is questionable. They're still without Maxi Kleber and Omax Prosper. Doncic listed questionable with right knee sprain and left ankle soreness. So the maladies are multiplying for Luka Doncic. What are your reads? Obviously, he's going to try to play through this, but what have you seen from Luka in terms of effectiveness kind of playing through these injuries against the Thunder?
Yeah, he's hurt, man. He's hobbling. He's see blood on his one leg. He's got his, tights ripping off another leg, hobbling around. We saw him get tripped up in the last game, was limping there. Got the ankle listing. Every game he's hobbling. He's grimacing. John Hollinger had a funny tweet. He's like the mascot of the final of the playoffs. It's Grimace from the McDonald's commercials, which I thought was pretty funny. So yeah, he's hurt. The drive stats are a little bit down, not like catastrophic down, but they're down. His shooting off drives is down a little bit. The jump shooting has really been the biggest thing. He's not really getting separation. Attribute that a little bit to Dort. I think they've done a pretty good job defending him. And yeah, the usage is down a little bit. So yeah, clearly not hurt. Kyrie also pretty quiet on the usage front. Again, credit to J-Dub keeping Kyrie in check, shooting pretty well off drives. So it could kind of maybe have bigger imprint on the series. But yeah, Luka's going to be hurt. Again, going to be really tough matchups. His line, I don't know where it's at, but I imagine it's dropping. It's probably in the 20s now, considering the way he's played so much. So yeah, talked about PJ Washington. He has, again, been their best player the last two games. They've got to shut that water off. 4 post-up plays for PJ after having 0 in the last month plus. So they're clearly going at SGA. They're attacking matchups. Obviously, they're leaving in the corner a ton. That's quite clear. That's what their game plan was. or I should say what OKC's biggest adjustment is to shut that off a little bit. Derek Lively also okay. We did see Daniel Gafford get hurt again. So he's had a pinky injury, a back injury, a shoulder injury. He's getting all sorts of dinged up here. But Derek Lively was great. I'm sure you guys saw the video of Chet Holmgren chasing around Derek Lively to try to do a hack of Lively, which is hilarious. But yeah, should be pretty close to center split. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Josh Green kind of locked and loaded here. Then Derek Jones Jr. has done a pretty good job on SGA. SGA's efficiency off drives hasn't been very good. His rim scoring is way down. He's making a lot of tough shots, SGA. But hey, you're a MVP caliber player. That's kind of what you do.
Were there any coaching comments from Dagnall on the strategy revolving the hack of Derek Lively and how he felt about that? Because I think that's an interesting nugget to try to, it's not a strategy you often see in the playoffs, because points are at such a premium in the playoffs that even giving, 0.8 points per possession, that would be a 40% free throw shooter. Even giving up that at points can be, challenging. So did Dagnall have any comments regarding the strategy and whether it would be something they'd continue to employ?
Yeah, he called it, quote, a numbers advantage with that move. So it didn't really work. He made all the shots. So probably don't go to it as much. So yeah, he didn't really commit to it or not commit to it. But I mean, made a little bit of sense given the time and the situation. But I would say it's a little bit unlikely to happen. But then again, hey, you're looking for reason to play Derek Lively, tack that on there because they trust him. Kyrie talked to him. He said, hey, go make these shots. Kid said same thing. Don't even, we talk about this chat thing. They're like, hey, don't even run around, man. They'll send you the line. Just go there. So
yeah. All right, that will do it for this edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. As always, if you want to support our content and our work here, the best way to do so is to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We are 50 subscribers short of our goal of getting to 5,000 by the end of the calendar, the NBA season. So we've got about 4.5 more weeks to try to get these 50 extra subscribers to meet our goals, to make management happy, to get the kudos from management for myself and Mike Gallagher. So we'd appreciate your efforts in helping us get to that 5,000 subscriber mark. You can also hit the bell and get notifications whenever we post new content, which there is new content today already uploaded on the YouTube channel here, episode 372 of the Established Run NBA podcast, breaking down each of the 4 series from where we are at after the weekend, talking in depth on Nuggets and Wolves, Thunder and Mavs. And then we got into the Knicks and Pacers, along with a little bit of Celtics Cavs talk. So we broke down the 4 series there. It's live on this YouTube channel. You can check that out after logging off of this show. If you're interested in checking out our premium content, you can find myself and Mike Gallagher behind the paywall at 5 o'clock Eastern time tonight, talking through the good chalk, the bad chalk, the contrarian plays, and of course the flag plants for this 2-game slate. You can check out all of our premium product offerings on establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA for more details on both the player props packages and the DFS packages. If you're interested in joining us along for the rest of the playoffs, we will continue pumping out content whenever there are games, including Mike Gallagher's matchups column, which can get all the details on the breakdowns of these games, rotation changes, and so on and so forth, all behind the paywall there. If you're interested in supporting this free content and keeping it free in advance of next season as we work into our off-season plans, the best way to do so is to smash that like button and help feed that algorithm. You smash the like button, it feeds the algorithm, which helps feed our families and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information analysis you need each and every day to set your lineups and make your spread bets and your prop bets. So smash that like button, feed that algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. We'll see you tomorrow.